What's going on, everyone? My name is Nicholas Merton here at Dash, and today is September 11th of 2019. Well, folks, I hope you all are having a fantastic day wherever you are. And in today's video, we've got a wide range of topics to focus on. We'll take a look at price data for Bitcoin and altcoins, trying to see if we can find some historical trends and why I'm personally bearish in the short term on Bitcoin. Outside of that as well, taking a look at the trade war and trying to determine whether or not the US or China is winning and how much this trade war is costing us, potentially leading it to being a recession indicator. Outside of that as well, guys, we've also got a sponsored review of Dashlane, a awesome password manager, later towards the end of the video, so stick around for that. You won't want to miss it. But outside of that, I do want to say that I appreciate your guys' patience as well. I know I wasn't able to get a video out as I usually do on Tuesday. I woke up to some pretty severe lower back pain. I don't know how it happened. It might have been from me lifting or me sleeping wrong and, the way that I sleep. So I apologize. I just was not in the mood and I already had a lot of work to do yesterday. But anyways, we're back in action today. I got a nice cup of coffee here, and let's go ahead and dive right into the review. So taking a look over the market here, we can see that there's a general downtrend across the market here as Bitcoin is down a little bit under 2% right now at the moment. Again, most altcoins feeling more pain and losing some of that dominance they gained over the last few days. Again, no serious change in trend here. If we take a look here at yearly market cap, again, starting to curve down here. And I'm going to be talking about how it's more specifically in Bitcoin. Obviously, Bitcoin's going to draw the markets one way or another most times until we see that shift in market dominance, which again, we really haven't seen yet. We can see that Bitcoin's setting lower highs here, but we didn't even come into contact with the line of resistance. And this is going to play a big role in why in the short term, I'm expecting we're at least going to drop a few extra $100, if not to $1,000 over the next few days. And I'll kind of explain my rationale for that as we go through. Overall altcoin market cap, again, this is going to be something I'll focus on here on the TradingView chart in just a moment. We'll take a look here at dominance on the yearly. Again, holding relatively flat here under 70%. A good leap here for altcoins over the last day or so, but really nothing significant for a trend shift, right? We just closed down on some of the Bitcoin dominance gains from the early part of September. Want to let you all know real quick, again, I've got a lot of conferences coming up that I'm going to. I'm going to be at the WCC event in Las Vegas. It's going to be after my event at the Litecoin Summit. So if you guys want to come see me, I'll be attending that conference as well. I'll link down below in the description for tickets if you guys would like to come. It's from October 29th to the 31st. So hope to see you there. All right. So let's go ahead and dive into price here, guys. So volume has been abysmal. It's commonly what's expected until you really get a breakout or a breakdown until we close above the wedge or close below it. Even if you see this as a descending triangle, doesn't matter until you close down below those lows, right? It's very similar to what we saw over here. Look at how the volume spikes here. I'm actually going to separate the volume window here so you guys can see that a little bit clearer. We'll move that to a new pane below. Again, you can see the volume really kicks in once we broke below the descending triangle. So even for those of you who are bearish, right, you expect the volume to come in when you break out one way or the other. Now, in the sense of price here, I'll explain to you guys why I'm a little bit confident that we're probably going to break to the lower end of the wedge here. And that has to do with the fact that we have not only gone below the moving averages here. And usually in our chart, we usually have the 21-day, the 50-day, and the 100-day. But along with that, we didn't even come to make contact with the line of resistance we've recently met 3 times in the past, right? And not to mention, it's going towards lower levels. You need to just set slightly lower highs here for the rally here. All we needed to push up was a few $100s, but price isn't even coming up there. In fact, we're meeting resistance like we did over here these past 2 times. So again, this has me a little bit concerned that price is going to probably push down to the downside as we haven't had any kind of volume resurgence. We had this opportunity over here, but again, no serious volume coming in, nothing like what we were seeing back here during the rally through the early part of 2019 into Q2 of 2019. And again, there's something that's very interesting looking to me, which is the 200-day. And it's not that far away. It's sitting around a very big even around 8,000. It's not moving too quick. Again, we could see a very short-term sell-off here. And then after that, a continuation of the trend. The only thing that I'm worried about is, again, the 21 week here. All right, so I don't have the moving average on here, so I'll go ahead and change one of them. So I'll change my my first one here from originally the 50 to the 21, right? Again, we still haven't made direct contact with that 21 week. So perhaps, again, could be a correction down to test that one final time here on the line. Again, would be about a $700 drop here in Bitcoin. as we roll back over towards the lower end of the wedge. So either way, no matter what you think is going to happen, whether you think it's going to be more severe, I do believe we are going to see some more downside here over the next few days, somewhere around 8 to 10% minimal, and then possibly down towards around 20% if we push down to 8K. So it just seems at the moment we're not seeing the momentum to really bring confidence in this market for me to feel that we're ready to break out just yet. It feels like price needs to come down towards a lower range in the 30 to 40% correction range that we commonly see, even though we've already tested that at these previous lows here, right? So just keeping an eye. I'm not averaging until we either break down to this level again, down here at 9,400, or down to a lower range around 8,000. I'll continue to add anywhere in between there personally. And if we come back up here out of nowhere over the next few days and have good resurgence in volume and price above 11,000, then I'll be sure to enter in some more, as we'll probably be entering into the next phase of the cycle. All right, so going on here to take a look at another data set that we usually don't commonly look at, and that is total market cap for altcoins, right? So I think this is very important, taking a look at total market capitalization, taking a look at Bitcoin, and taking a look at total market cap excluding Bitcoin, so we can just see what altcoins are doing, right? Now, there are some variations we have to consider here. There's the market cap of stablecoins like Tether and TrueUSD and Paxos and DAI and all these different stablecoins, right? But kind of excluding those anomalies here that might lead to some variations, what I find very interesting is that we've gone through a very similar correction that we tend to do once we exit out of the accumulation phase. Exactly what we did in the last cycle between the years of 2016 and 2017. Right? As we started to exit out of the accumulation phase where we had consistent lows here between the early part and the late part of 2015 and Bitcoin's price, altcoins followed suit. And we actually had a continuation to the upside here, right? I'll go ahead here, just make it a little bit clear. And we had this sideways price action here where even though it was sideways, we did from top to bottom have a 52% correction, right? Even though it was still well above anywhere towards the lows. Well, that's the same exact case here with what we've got here with altcoins, right? We're still well above where we were, more than, double in this case of where we were back during, I guess this was back in December of 2018. And we're now at a 54% correction in the market. So what's really interesting to me, if we take it here to the daily, and we go ahead and get it here on the auto chart so it doesn't look too wonky when I load up the chart here, you can see here that we've actually been setting these higher lows here. And again, this comes with the change in dominance that we've seen in markets. We've seen how altcoins have gained a little bit of dominance over the last few days. Nothing significant, no trend shift, but I'm saying that this is a prime opportunity for altcoins to potentially make that first move, to start leading here, especially testing around the support range, which, bear in mind, is very close to previous resistance. That's what I look for here, guys. It's a make or break moment here for altcoins. It's got to start giving something. It's got to interest investors here. And I think what's happened now is we really have filtered out of a lot of the kind of wash trading, excessive market making cryptos. They've really kind of fallen off the map. And not to mention coin aggregate sites, I think are going to really start cracking down. I know that the team at CoinMarketCap, who we work with here on the channel, and a lot of other coin aggregate sites are starting to work on finding ways to just cut out all the fake volume and provide a much more transparent way of determining whether or not the liquidity is real. And they're using things like cold storage, for example, filtering out prime candidates who are known for this kind of stuff, who don't have real users, right? They're asking for that kind of data. If they don't get it, they're probably not going to broadcast it, right? So I think that's very important. And once that comes through, once people have transparency of data in the altcoin space, then you're going to see the risk taking come back. You're going to see larger players starting to buy in, and they're going to be going into the projects that have real utility, real users, real partnerships. Again, we have some of those plays that are building the market, projects that are actually providing real value. But there's a lot that are still out there sucking up valuation in this altcoin space that, again, don't really have anything for people to look forward to. So anyways, that's it in the sense of altcoins in the market. I'd love to know what you guys think about this and some of the projects that you believe are going to do well in this next cycle. I have a general target range that we're going to probably pull, a 20x here in the sense of the next rally. Go ahead here, actually, and just do an auto chart. We'll take a look at the weekly here just to kind of see. And we'll also scrunch the chart here so you guys can see it. I believe, again, it could push up towards around the $1 trillion range. The reason I say that for the next cycle, this is going all the way to 2021, could even extend this a little bit further. The reason I say that is because at the last cycle, we reached around $480 billion for altcoins. if Bitcoin goes to 100K, right, does 5x from its previous highs, that would be completely rational for altcoins to do that, because altcoins move parabolic and there's risk taking involved, right? So I think that could be the general target range. Again, it might extend this time frame, but it's just a random target at the moment. We have no idea where altcoins could go, guys. It's just a general assumption here, around 20x. It would be pretty expected if Bitcoin did a 5x. All right, so I'm going to put on my headset here. Akon, one of the famous individuals who's actually kind of got involved with cryptocurrencies quite early on. Akon's always kind of like interested in doing a lot of like kind of unique new things. So it's always interesting to see a celebrity doing stuff like this. But he actually went out and started speaking about Bitcoin. And there's a lot of things he says that's actually really good and kind of speaks towards him getting a general understanding of, what crypto is about. There's a few misconceptions or misstatements that he makes, but I thought we'd go ahead, listen to what he has to say and stuff, and do a little bit of review here on what he says. So let's go ahead. I'll make sure that hopefully the audio is coming through good.
Believe it or not, the cryptocurrency is more stable than the actual, fiat currency, the dollar. Mm-hmm. Ultimately, because it's more controlled by the people. You know what I'm saying? Whereas, government is a business. Mm-hmm. Currency is the biggest business in the world. Mm-hmm. You know what I'm saying? Like, you got to understand money and how it works to understand crypto in so many ways. But more than anything, you don't really have to be educated to it to understand the security process of it, because it gets really confusing when you start talking about blockchain and all this other, because no one knows what the hell that is.
I don't know what's going on. I'm like,
you know what I'm saying?
I need somebody to explain this to me.
Yeah, so it's really about, it boils down to trust. Mm-hmm. What you trust that value to be to you.
Mm-hmm. But with currency, like with cryptocurrency, this is why I never invested in it, because I don't understand it myself. But who says what the worth of it is?
That's my point. It's the people that say that.
But that's crazy. Like you be like, this pen. All right, well, this pen is worth $1,000. Like,
yes.
Who's to say that it's really worth $1,000?
But that's what I'm saying. It depends on what it's worth to you. Like the dollar. Who's to say what that's worth?
It sounds like a scam to me.
But just think about it. The actual dollar. Who says that's worth anything?
The government says it's worth.
Okay, the government, right?
Right, and they sanction it that the dollar's worth $1 all through the U.S.
100%.
Correct.
But nothing backs the dollar. The U.S. ain't got no natural resource that backs that dollar, my brother. Now, what they do have to back it is the military.
Okay.
That's who backs the dollar. But U.S. ain't got nothing that backs the dollar. The military backs the dollar. Now, if you look at other countries, they have plenty of gold, diamonds.
They're supposed to have gold. They're supposed to have gold.
Who?
I thought we were supposed to have gold.
She said
Bro,
who?
U.S. ain't got nothing.
So you just say we just got a piece of paper we're saying is worth something. So that paper is really worth nothing.
It's worth something because we say it's worth something.
Right. You give it the value.
You give it the value. Bitcoin, prime example, right?
Oh, perfect.
It's not a dollar.
Nope.
It's a digital coin.
Mm-hmm.
Correct.
Right?
Yep.
Now, I can buy a Ferrari with Bitcoin.
Yes, you can.
I can buy a house with Bitcoin.
Correct.
I can buy whatever I want to buy with Bitcoin because it's just as equally valued as the actual dollar because the people say it is.
What about hacking problems?
But you can't. That's what the blockchain prevents. Like that's the security part of it.
All
right. So a lot of different points. A lot of different points were made here by Akon. Some. I'll just go ahead and speak on the misstatements he made. In the sense of Bitcoin being more stable, let's be real, guys. Bitcoin is obviously not more stable. I understand some people say, it's the US dollar that's being volatile around Bitcoin when we take a look at Bitcoin's price. But let's be real. It's the wild, wild west. Bitcoin is still not known by a lot of people or understood by a lot of people. And that's why, for example, right now we have such a volatile price. The good news is that's actually a good thing because it means that there's room to trade and speculate at the moment as we're still in the wild, wild west. And at the same time, it means that we've got an awesome challenge on our hands to get this technology out to the world. But I really love a point Akon made. He made a lot of great points. First off, the biggest business in the world is the business of money. Absolutely true. Whether it's managing money or it's creating money. The banking sector is gigantic. And the crazy thing is at the end of the day, if you really think about it, I mean, this is the thing that blows me away because I'm someone, I have a fascination with finance. I love it. I understand the benefit of the service of money management and the market of credit and how that can grow economies in the sense of lending and providing credit when it's necessary for new companies or for those who need to get, loans to go to school or, an auto loan or home mortgage, whatever it may be, right? It can help grow economies. But the thing is, banks really don't create anything. If you think about it, again, they provide the service of money management, but at the end of the day, they're not producing anything. They're producing financial products. They're producing things that just circulate money and eventually, through the economic cycles, tend to strip wealth from the middle class and the poor. That's generally how it works, right? And that's what's led to this gigantic wealth divergence, and it's why things like Bitcoin are so kind of enlightening and positive for potentially changing that trend. Another thing that Akon mentioned, again, the security here. It's really good to see how he explained in this case how a blockchain, the immutability of that blockchain, again, can prevent from, any kind of attacks or someone trying to, compromise the blockchain or compromise transactions or steal your funds. So long as you manage your private key, that's fine. And the best point that he made is trying to explain the technology to people. I think the biggest thing we're going to have to get to as people in the crypto space is understanding that the world is not going to get Bitcoin, okay? Bitcoin, just like monetary policy for cash and currencies across the world, is not going to be understood by the average person, okay? And that's not something to be sad about. More than anything, we need to make it, I think, again, this speaks to the challenge that we have to fix as a community, and that is to make it as easy as possible for people to use cryptocurrencies and to not have to think about it. Just like how when you send an international wire transfer or you wire money to another business or to your friends on Venmo, you don't know what's going on behind the scenes. You don't understand Swift. You don't understand when you use the internet protocols. And it would be the same case for Bitcoin and Ethereum. I really do believe. But I'd like to know what you all think about this. Again, interesting to see celebrities starting to talk about it. They all sent another thing here on r/Bitcoin where they had the left tackle for the LA Chargers changing his Twitter handle to "Pay me in Bitcoin." Pretty interesting stuff. So I wonder if his contract will be in Bitcoin. That would be pretty interesting. If someone got their sports contract where they said, "Nope, I require 100 Bitcoin for my contract," that would be pretty cool. All right, so Stellar, just want to let you all know, is doing a huge airdrop of like 2 billion XLM. I just always like to let you guys know about airdrops. It's free money at the end of the day. Whether or not you think Stellar's going to benefit from this or not, I have no doubt this will probably lead the price to go down, as with most airdrops. But they are going to be dropping 2 billion XLM worth a whopping $120 million. It's bigger than the last one they did, I think, which was 50 million on the blockchain.info wallet. This is going to be with Keybase. So definitely take a look into it if you guys would like to. Just want to let you all know about this. So again, you can claim your free crypto if you want. Outside of that, though, I want to dive into this topic of the trade war. So there's a few key data sets here. We're going to take a look at two charts here that I think really define the trade war. And that is the cost of the trade war, and then also talking about who's really winning right now. So, all right, so the first thing here is this cost of the trade war, right? People have, I think, an inflated cost of what the trade war is costing because they see the tariffs, okay? And they see $300 billion worth of, tariffs on top, or sorry, 300 billion worth of goods or services that are going to be hit by tariffs, right? And that's not $300 billion of cost. It's the amount of goods that are going to be affected on market value, right? So the market value of those goods or services that are going to be hit by these new 5, 10, 15, 20% tariffs. And you can usually go into the details on these policies that are implemented by the different administrations from President Z or from President Trump, and you can see what goods are going to be affected. Now, this chart here will actually demonstrate the overall estimated cost on the goods, and it's very easy to get this number. You do the annualized cost based on the value of the goods being hit by tariffs, multiplied by the tariff rate. And you can see here that it's projected sometime in November this is going to cost anywhere from $100 to $120 billion in total tariffs, right, between the two economies. Now, being, again, more fearful here as well, not in the sense of trying to generate FUD, but being realistic, it's not just going to cost $100 to $120 billion because there is going to be a lot of economic value that could have existed that is just going to cease to exist now. There is going to be imports and exports that originally would have been going between the US and China that are no longer going to happen because the entire supply chain logistics system is going haywire. It doesn't know, next week if there's going to be 5 or 10% tariffs on the goods or services they're manufacturing in China, or for the farmers in the United States, they're not sure if they're going to be hit by extra tariffs in China when they're trying to export, different types of farm-based, goods goods in this case, from wheat to soy to whatever it may be, meats for China's rising middle class, all kinds of different things that are bouncing back and forth. And this is the cost of the uncertainty of the trade war. That's the biggest cost here, is not knowing what's going to come next, and it stifles growth in this case. Now, I think everyone agrees trade wars aren't good. But it's a game of cat and mouse between China and the United States. That's really what it is. So the next question here that's obvious is who's winning? right? And I think it's very subjective. I don't want to step into the bias here, being a citizen of the United States. And again, if you guys have any different opinions on it, you let me know down in the comments. I want to hear from you. I was very much in the view that China was going to win this one out for a very long time. But this is a really good chart here that showcases the USD CNY pair, right? This is the Chinese yuan, and tariffs moving hand in hand, right? So basically the chart here indicates how the USD Chinese yuan pair would be, what level it needs to be in order to require offsetting tariff increases. Okay, so it's believed that as China devalues its currency, which has historically been known for, that it benefits its economy in the sense of exports. I can tell you overall, guys, it is not good for the average person because you're devaluing their purchasing power, but it does benefit China in the sense of its exports, right? So if we're just caring about GDP and exports here, which China is focused on right now, China would need to devalue its currency up to these projected levels over this time frame in order to stay competitive with the increase in tariffs on its economy. And this is why China is coming to the table and why I personally believe that the United States is winning at the moment, right? So again, it's very basic, like kind of currency war economics here that you have to factor in here, factoring in against the tariffs. But again, I would love to know if you guys have any different perspectives. If you got some interesting charts or data points you want to share, let me know in the comments down below. But this is one of the most important charts you could see right here. It's the reason why China has aggressively started to devalue since back in May, because I think they started to see forthcoming a lot of these increases in tariffs, right? This stuff has been going back and forth between the United States and China for some time. It's an economic war. And I think it's eventually going to lead them to come to the table, because I don't think they want to devalue their currency up to the upper 7 ratio range here against the dollar. I really don't believe they do. And the reason why is it's going to mean mass exit of liquidity out of the Chinese yuan, and meaning it's going to be money moving out of the economy wherever they can get it out. And they've already seen it happen in real estate markets. They've seen it happen in crypto and other types of hedging assets like gold and silver. China doesn't want that. They're already at a slow standstill with all of the fear growing with the trade war. So anyways, would like to get your guys' opinion on it. Again, another thing to take a look at here, we are in September now, so we have some interesting up-to-date data here on some of the data for central bank balance sheets. One thing to take into mind here is Japan is now the central bank of the world that has the most stimulus, has more stimulus than all of the European central bank and the European countries that are part of the Eurozone. It has more than the People's Bank of China, an economy with much more people, and the Fed, which is really the only one breaking away here and declining its balance sheet. And outside of that as well, taking a look at China, the interesting thing that I want to note here is that, as we can see here, we've been pushing sideways really since back here in 2014 for China's central bank balance sheet. So the question here, again, another thing you'd want to watch for here on the trade war is whether or not China is going to have to increase its balance sheet, meaning that it's losing the trade war. And if it declines it, if it can continue to reduce its balance sheet, that means the economy is in a much stronger stance and that China has some room to really stand if its central bank is pulling the lever, getting more hawkish, and reducing its balance sheet. That really speaks to China's philosophy on where it stands at the moment. It could be wrong, but again, that's something to really keep an eye on here. And it's nice that we have this kind of data to look at here. So hopefully we'll get some up-to-date data if they've been reducing it. This is still from back in July, but hopefully we'll get some new data coming up here soon on the People's Bank of China. Anyways, that's it for the video, everyone. Let's go ahead and take a look at our sponsor for today, and that is Dashlane. Alrighty, everyone, so let's go ahead and spend some time to take a look at today's sponsor, and it is no other than Dashlane. Now, for those of you out there who care about security as much as I do, especially in relation to cryptocurrency activities, then Dashlane is the perfect tool for you. To put it simple, Dashlane is a password manager. It not only streamlines the management of dozens of different passwords to your favorite platforms, all with one simple login to your Dashlane account, but along with that, it's built with a secure framework that doesn't rely on the trust of Dashlane to know all of your passwords. In fact, it uses a lot of state-of-the-art technologies such as zero-knowledge architecture, which is commonly used in a lot of crypto and blockchain projects, to provide an experience where you can have ownership over your personal information in a secure and encrypted fashion. And we'll dive a little bit deeper into how it actually operates and saves your passwords, as well as some of the other functionality that Dashlane provides. But before we dive into that, I want to let you all know about two things. If you just want to get your feet wet in Dashlane and try it out, don't worry, it's actually free. If you guys want to go ahead, you can save up to 50 different passwords as well as autofill all of your personal information to websites so you can start streamlining your web browsing experience. Or for those of you who want to try their more premium functionalities, check out the link down below in the description that will allow you to register for their premium or premium plus package. And this comes with additional functionality. For example, you can get things like dark web monitoring and VPN technology. And to put it simple, VPN technology will allow you to browse the web securely and privately without being able to track your IP. Outside of that as well, for the Premium Plus package, comes with things like credit monitoring and identity theft insurance. So I'd say this is really relevant for a lot of you out there who might be putting up personal information like your KYC data to cryptocurrency websites, or your personal financial information like your debit or credit card. So again, very important stuff, I think, and very relevant for a lot of people in the cryptocurrency space. Now, again, the thing about Dashlane that's great is that it's not only accessible in the free version, and also the Premium and Premium Plus package aren't that expensive for what they offer, but along with that, it comes on all devices. You can use it as a browser extension, you can use it on Mac, Windows, on your mobile phone, or on your desktop, doesn't matter. You get the comfortable client that you want to use, and then you can dive right into the platform like we're going to do right now. So I've got the browser extension. This is what you're going to get right here. It's a very simple and clean layout, as it should be when you're doing something like managing passwords. And Dashlane, again, is going to prompt you first and foremost to take a look at this page here, which is really our passwords. And it's one of many tabs that we'll take a look at as we go throughout this review. So first off, if we want to manually add passwords, we can do that. We can simply click add new here, and we can add the website URL. So this could be Facebook or YouTube. We can add our login here, which would be our username or email, our password to that given account, and also maybe give it a name and a note to describe what this login is for. We might have multiple logins, so we might have to add some extra details. And then we can also add some extra restrictions, so we can always log into this website, in this case with this login, but we can also do things like requiring the master password when we want to use this login, or use it for subdomains specifically. So again, a lot of intricate little details you can add here to really tailor the experience to your own. But I want to go ahead and show you how you can really streamline adding these passwords. When I go, for example, here to Dropbox, which is what we use here to upload our newsletters for our Dash report. This is what newsletter we do here on the channel. I have to go through and sign into Dropbox in order to upload that file to broadcast it out to my readers. So I have my login here, and what's really cool about Dashlane is that it can auto pick up here both email, password, and general kind of input fields here on a given website. So we can actually go ahead and input our information one time, click sign in, and Dashlane is going to prompt and ask us if we'd like to save this information. So in the future, we don't have to input that again, and we can simply go ahead and click save. And if we go back to the actual page here, we can go ahead and see that right then and there, we've got our Dropbox login. And again, we can click on it, and we can change, add different details here, but it's got our email and our password and a specific website with the name auto-generated. So again, very simple. And I'll never have to type that again. All I have to remember, even as I add more and more passwords here, is my master password, which is going to grant me access to my passwords. So it's very important when you make that master password, and Dashlane already kind of sets this standard here, that you're gonna have to make a very secure password, because it is a gateway to your personal information here, right? So that's the first thing you can really do on Dashlane, and that's kind of its bread and butter, but there's a lot of other extra functionality that you may not know about. There are things, for example, like secure notes. So secure notes allow you to add notes on here, and again, just like your passwords, it's highly encrypted. And again, we'll dive into that information as we go throughout the review here as to how it really operates, how zero-knowledge architecture works. But for example, just to showcase here, we could type something up here. This could be personal notes that we need to write to remind ourselves about something, or whatever it may be, right? Maybe, for example, we've got some cryptocurrencies we want to buy for this week and stuff, and I want to write my personal portfolio down. Well, for example, I've got a little note here, hello world, and I can also choose the color that I want. I'll change it to blue here to match with the Dashlane color, and just like that, I've got a note here, right? And I can go back to that at any time. And again, I'm the only person who has access to this. Dashlane cannot get direct access to this information. So it's really cool. We also take a look here, for example, personal information. It's already got one of our emails here, the business email that I used to register the account, and I can add a ton of different emails here, right? Again, a very big key component of logging in. And we can add all kinds of different things too. We can add, for example, a name, an email, a phone number, an address, a specific company and its details, or a specific website. So again, all kinds of different information here. Dashlane is kind of a hub to put all kinds of different information from your passwords to, certain things like reminders, as we do with the notes. We can put all kinds of details in here. And again, it's highly encrypted. And the last thing here that's really relevant that will save you a ton of time outside of just simply getting your login information. In this case, you can input your payments information and things like your passport details. So again, you don't have to fill out those tedious long numbers or go dragging out to get that information again. It's all right there in your Dashlane account for you to simply input when you're actually inputting that information on a specific website. So again, you can see here that as simple as the layout is for Dashlane, it's highly functionable, and it can end up saving a lot of time over a period of usage, in the sense that you're not going to have to continue to remember these passwords and forgot password and reset it and all that stuff. I mean, God, I've gone through this burden too many times here with managing the dozens of accounts I do here on my YouTube channel. I can't even imagine what it's like for a lot of people out there who might have multiple exchange accounts, multiple social media accounts, all kinds of things like that. Now, I do want to spend some time to talk a little about this zero-knowledge architecture, because I think it's very important for you guys to understand, especially a lot of you security freaks like myself, what zero-knowledge architecture is at the end of the day. And though I don't want to go too extensive into describing it, because I probably wouldn't do it justice, to put it simple, Dashlane encrypts your information and passwords and saves it in Dashlane as a random noise. So to put it simple, Dashlane wouldn't be able to do anything with that information. It's highly encrypted, and very similar to public and private key encryption, which is used in cryptocurrencies. It's going to be a very, very long guessing game to try to make any sense out of that random noise, right? Unless you have the private key to your funds, you can't access the public key. You can't get access to that information. So it's very similar in that nature of using encryption methods that are time tested and used in hundreds of different systems across the world to secure information. So I really like Dashlane in this sense. It's been able to take a really creative approach, which I think fits the mindset of a lot of cryptocurrencies. You have self-custody of your information in this case. You're able to have a highly secure framework for things that are so important, like your personal information to your passwords. Yet at the same time, they keep it in a very clean and simple framework that you can use across pretty much any device. So again, I recommend you guys give it a try. If you want to try the free version, feel free to check out their website, but make sure to check out the link down below in the description for a discount if you guys are going to register for the Premium or Premium Plus package. I highly recommend it. I like VPN technology. It's really good for when you're browsing, but along with that as well, things like credit monitoring and identity theft insurance can go a long way in the digital age, where there's a lot of different breaches on data and personal information, especially here in the 21st century. So why not browse the web a little bit more secure? If you guys are interested, check out the link down below in the description. Thank you again to Dashlane for sponsoring this video. And if you guys have any questions, leave it down in the comments down below. But until the next video, I'll see you all in the next one. Stay tuned.